Today, I'm going to be talking about motivation and emotions and how our behaviors are affected both positively and negatively by this. The brain and emotions. The limbic system is a group of interconnected structures located deep within the brain. It is the part of the brain that's responsible for behavioral and emotional responses. The hypothalamus. In addition to controlling emotional responses, the hypothalamus is also involved in sexual response, hormone release, and the regulation of body temperature. This is a picture of the limbic system, and the hypothalamus is located right here. Definition of motivation. Motivation is the process that initiates, guides, and maintains goal-oriented behaviors. It is what helps you lose weight, or it helps you to work to get a promotion. In other words, motivation causes you to act in a way that gets you closer to your goals, and your behaviors can help or hurt you in this process. Definition of emotions. Emotions are often confused with feelings and moods, but the three terms are the same. According to the American Psychological Association, emotion is defined as a complex reaction pattern involving experimental, behavioral, and psychological elements. Emotions are how an individual deals with patterns or situations they find personally important. Emotions can be both positive and negative. Emotional experiences have three components: a subjective experience, a psychological response, and a behavioral or expressive response. Positive subjective experiences. A subjective experience refers to the emotional and cognitive impact of that the human experience. Subjective experiences are produced by your own mind. Subjective emotions are feelings or qualities of consciousness, such as joy or happiness, that reflect personally, emotionally arousing events. The major type of emotions include happiness, joy, interest, excitement, hope, love, and amusement. And these are positive subjective emotions. Positive emotional responses. Emotions are reactions that humans experience in response to an event or a situation. The type of emotion a person experiences is determined by the circumstances that trigger that emotion. For instance, a person may experience happiness or joy when they receive good news, such as a job promotion or the birth of a baby. Positive psychological responses. This psychological response is the result of the autonomic nervous system's reaction to the emotions we're experiencing. The autonomic nervous system controls our involuntary bodily responses and regulates our fight or flight response. Some studies have shown autonomic psychological responses are strongest when a person's facial expressions most closely resemble the expressions of the emotion they're experiencing at the time. In other words, if you're happy, your facial expression plays an important role in responding accordingly to the emotion in a physical sense. Positive behavioral or expressive response. The behavioral response of an emotion is the actual expression of the emotion. Behavioral responses can include a smile, a laugh, excitement, etc. Behavioral responses are important to signal to others how we're feeling. It also shows an individual's well-being or how they are feeling in the moment. Emotions affect our whole demeanor and our health. A negative subjective experience. A negative subjective experience is a fact, situation, or an experience that is negative and is unpleasant, depressing, or harmful. Examples include relationship struggles, death of a loved one, being laid off, having a chronic disease, failed businesses, an eating disorder, mental health, and financial issues. Negative emotional responses include hurt feelings, confusion, anger, fear, surprise, or embarrassment. We react to strong emotional responses in a variety of ways. Some are helpful and others are not. Having negative emotions can be caused by many different things or experiences, such as having some unmet needs, poor coping skills, other people using manipulations, living in an addiction household, or just feeling overworked. Negative psychological responses. Psychological reactions to a crisis or traumatic event vary from person to person, and symptoms and how they react are typically different for each of those people. Reactions can include changes in behavioral, psychological illness, psychological poor health, overthinking patterns, and negative social interactions. Symptoms of a psychological response are common responses to a crisis or a traumatic event and are often shown as anger, moodiness, irritability, becoming obsessive, crying, and denial. Negative behavioral or expressive responses. Negative behavioral or expressive responses can include gestures, facial expressions, gait, posture, and angry or loud voices. Ways people show or express negative feelings are: you can draw how you were feeling, punch a pillow, you can scream, let yourself cry, rip paper into small pieces, and vent. Please keep in mind that venting is not the same as asking for help. Venting is taking the time to share how you are feeling about a situation out loud. Thank you for listening to my presentation, and I hope you learned a little more about how the brain works and how emotions and motivations can be both positive and negative.